Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about Dr. Sonia Robinson. She's the beautiful lady on the screen right now. And she is also the World Civility Day I Changed Nations 2020 Icon Global Newcomer of the Year Award. And then this is a culture of honor that recognizes individuals throughout the world who have exemplified extraordinary humanitarian efforts to effectively change nations. So Dr. Sonia served as a senior manager for a Fortune 500 company with over 44 years of experience. She embarked upon a new journey when she was awarded the Black Belt Speaker Sharing My Voice Award. Dr. Sonia was awarded an honorary doctorate degree in humanities from United Graduate College and Seminary International. Dr. Sonia has just completed her first book, Communication Mastery and Why It Matters. In collaboration with this book, Dr. Sonia launched a national proclamation entitled International Day of Mastering Conversations That Matter, which was approved by National Day Archives and will be recognized internationally on the 17th of April every year. So guys, I hope you're ready because 17th of April is right around the corner, Dr. Sonia. You're going to tell us a bit about this as soon as you get on. Dr. Sonia was selected to be a contributor in Global Faces of Productivity, Eradicating the Mindset of Poverty Through Civility, where she will be honored as one of the top world civility leaders of our day who is changing the world. Whoo! Look at that. Guys, let me tell you, I'm burning up here because we have the best. When I tell you we have the best, I'm not messing around. So you need to invite other people to be part of what we're doing. And welcome, Dr. Branch. It's so good to have you in the house. Welcome, Dr. Donald Tosin. It's so good to have you in the house. Everyone is so excited. Welcome, Dr. Dwayne. It's good to have you in the house. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. I just see the numbers going up. Some of you, I cannot see your name because you're not directly on my page, but I want you to know that I love you very much. We really appreciate you. Well, maybe I don't really matter, but Dr. Rivers loves you very much. That's important. So you want to hang around for a long time. Because one thing I know about Dr. Rivers is like, when you hang around him, you're going to rub off from greatness. That's just what's going to happen. You can't remain the same. Okay? So you need to invite everyone to stop being sad and depressed. Not today. Yeah. Tell sadness, not today. Tell anxiety, not today. Tell depression, get out of the door. This is not your address. Okay? We have Dr. Rivers in the house, so you need to come on here. Come in with your pen and paper. There's always something to learn. And take on notes that are going to last you for a lifetime. And you're having this for what? For free on World Civility Day. What a great day to be around Dr. Rivers. So I'm going to hand this over to Dr. Sonia. Dr. Sonia has a great message for us, communicating with civility. And Dr. Sonia, we're going to give you a moment, about 10 minutes to really tell us about your message because of the great work that you're doing. Dr. Sonia has so much more about her, but because of time, but you can connect with her on social media as Sonia Robinson. On social media, she's only in the great places, okay? So you want to check her out on LinkedIn. She's on Facebook. Send her a message with a good title, World Civility Day, so she can open it and find out how you can work with her because she's doing a lot of work in different countries all over the world. And she's happy to have more and more people be part of her initiatives. And welcome, Pelumi. Welcome, Doyi. It's great to have you. Welcome, Dr. Businge. Woo! Look at that. See who is in the house. Yes, greatness. Tell you guys, this live video is burning up. So, Dr. Sonia, over to you. Thank you. Oh, we're not having volume from you. Just 1 second. I'm just going to check that and make sure that we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, I'm fine. You can hear me?
Yes.
Yep. Good.
Okay. I'm going to take a few minutes to talk to you about conversations that matter and why they matter and how it relates to civility. You know, when I think of conversations, it's like, you know, conversation brings people together and it can also tear you apart. But one thing that's important is that when you think about conversations, you want to include everyone because you want to be able to collaborate with them. And in short, to help you understand this a little bit, I'm going to interweave some stories in this as well. Now, when you think of conversations, what I want you to think about is it's when people are talking, it's not like a head game. It's coming from the heart. They want to feel heard. If they're not feeling heard, they're going to be hurt. And that makes a poor, poor combination. So one thing that we do, weekly or monthly, we have our meetings. And in those meetings, there's one lady that always comes to the meetings, and she always has two questions. Regardless if they're irrelevant or not, she always brings up these two questions. And you know how it gets to a certain point, people will just not, they'll stop hearing you. They won't listen. They'll either turn and talk to the person next to them. They'll either change the subject, but they're just going to disregard whatever you have to say. So one day she was sitting in the meeting and she tried to explain what it was she was saying. And all of a sudden she started crying and she ran out the room. And I'm like, I wonder what just happened. But what I found out later on was she didn't feel heard. She was hurt. And it dawned on me, conversations is felt in the heart. It's not in the head, it's in the heart. So you have to make people feel a part of. So it's more like an emotion thing. Secondly, what I want to talk to you about is, again, another scenario, because I'm trying to get you to a point. Tell me if this has ever happened to you. You can be sitting here having a conversation with someone, may it be your wife, your husband, a friend, anyone, your kids, and you're talking. And you notice you're not getting a response back. But what you're hearing is, okay, So then you say, well, what did I just say? And they'll turn and look at you. How do you feel when they do that? I mean, it's like you get upset because you know they're not listening. So my point here is there's a difference between listening and hearing. When you hear, you're basically hearing sound. You're hearing the sound that someone makes. When you hear, you're actually hearing the words that they're saying to you. You're interpreting to understand what they're saying. And that's not something that we hear or see today, every day. People are going to come into a meeting or come into a room and their mind is going to already be made up. So you need to think of a way as to how you're going to communicate to these people. So basically, you need to be on the same level as them. You need to have them understand that you need to have an open mind as to what I'm saying to you. Are we okay still? Mm-hmm. Okay. So then lastly, what I want to go into is not lastly, but my next point is understanding communication. Now, when you understand communication, you'll understand there's a receiver, there's a communicator, and then there's the message. When you're dealing with a communicator, basically, you need to understand that the receiver may not be on the same level that you are on. So you're going to have to be ready to be flexible with your conversations in order for them to understand and interpret what you're saying. So in the scenarios that I just gave you, I want you to look back and see where you find what I just said to you. One last story that may be able to help you even further digest what I just said. There was this husband and wife. They were recently married. They made a pact. And that pact was anytime you go out and make a major purchase, we're going to talk about it beforehand. So the wife went out shopping. Husband went to work. The wife calls the husband and says, oh, honey, I found this dress. He says, I'm in a meeting. Send me a quick text. She sent him a text. He said, no, cost too high. Okay, hung up. That night on his way home, he's thinking, I'm going to have to go in here. I'm going to have to deal with it. She's going to be upset. What's going to happen? He opens the door. He walks in. She has this wonderful dinner laid out for him. They sit down for the dinner, and then she excuses herself. And she goes and she comes back out with a dress on, and she goes over to him. And she says, thank you for the dress. He says, what are you talking about? He says, I told you no, the cost was too high. She said, I thought you said no cost was too high. So again, that gets back to effective communication. So sometimes you need to clarify, what you're hearing and understanding. But then also what we saw in that scenario was, I don't think that was the appropriate time to be having that phone call. He's at work. You can't have a phone call like that while he's on the job. But in the end, when we walked away from all this, we walked away with a lot of hurt feelings that could have been avoided if we've had the conversation, ask the right questions. But I'm saying this to get you to the big point right now. And this is something that it just bothers me. And it gets back to what Dr. Rivers was talking about. What's the big problem we have in the world today? We have this coronavirus, and it's not isolated, it's around the world. And the thing that I see, and I can't deal with it all day because it bothers me. So I'll shut the TV off. I'll go do some work. I'll do some studying or whatever. But I may come back to, they have their briefing in the afternoon to give an update as to what's going on. So you have the medical doctor over here talking in medical terms. You have the infectious doctor over here talking whatever she's going to say. You have Vice President Pitts over here saying what he's done. Then you have the president coming out and he's campaigning. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, I don't think we're ever going to get anywhere with this because no one is listening to each other. We're attacking each other. We're calling out names. We're pointing fingers. Where's the civility in this? So in order for us to get out of this do loop and understand, we've got each state doing whatever they're going to do. We've got cruise ship going, and whenever the cruise ships come back, we're going to always have someone that is infected. We need to get these people to the table to come up with a common goal. Yeah. One of the things that bothers me right now is I live in Michigan. I'm going to use Detroit as an example. Detroit, African Americans represent 14% of the population in Detroit. Their death rate in Detroit is 40%. You know what that tells me? The messaging to certain people, certain areas is not clear. It's not effective. So in order to get effective messaging through, you need to be on the same stage when you come out and take that platform. And that's not what happened, because I'm sitting here looking at them and I'm like, if you guys are in chaos, what are you doing to the world? What are you showing to the world? You got China doing one thing. You got Korea doing one thing. You got Russia doing something else. You got Italy over here doing something else. You got the United States doing something. And my point here is this won't end for anyone until it ends for everyone. We need to get everyone to the table to come up with a common goal. As Nelson Mandela said, if you talk to a man in his language, he understands. But if you talk to him, he understands in his head. But if you talk to a man in his language, he understands with his heart. So basically what I'm saying is when you have these discussions with these people, you need to talk to them in their language. If you talk to the people in Detroit with their language, they would better understand what they need to do. If you talk to the people on the ships, I think you don't need to be going on a cruise ship right now. They'll understand what they need to do. But again, it's all about the messaging. So as we leave here today, and I want to say, happy World Civility Day to everyone and take advantage of it. But what you can do for me when you leave here today, since we're in such chaos and everybody doesn't know what to do, what they're going to do, where it's going to end, give them a word of encouragement. Show them that there is still civility in the world. Call someone up and say, I pray for you. This isn't here for a lifetime. We're going to do better. Just do what you need to do in order to make it through. Share with someone, embrace someone. Just show some love.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sonia. I told you she was going to drop it.